Now, before we go off to talk to Mr. Bingley, we can do one thing here. And in this particular box here, we can see that there's only one space left in this column. So whoever has piglet tails has to be Shelley. So we're going to put that O in there. Just give us a little more information. All right, now let's see what Mr. Bingley has to say. Here's what I remember. That kooky Dave was in line. Only that nut would carry a large can around school. So Dave has the can. So we're going to put an O there, and X's in the rest of that column, and X's in the rest of that row. We already know that the can was in position 2, so Dave must have been in position 2. So we're going to put an O there, and X's in the rest of that column, and X's in the rest of that row. Going on to Mr. Bingley. The person with pigtails had a green backpack. She said she definitely wasn't going to be last in line because they had her favorite dessert today. So pigtails is Shelley, we already know. Shelley has a green backpack, so we're going to put an O there, and X's in the rest of that row, and in the rest of that column. And she definitely wasn't going to be the last, so we're going to put an X there. But since we already know that Shelley has the pigtails, we can also do it this way. She had the green backpack, so we're going to put an O there, and X's in the rest of that row, and the rest of that column. And she definitely wasn't going to be the last one. And then when we look at this particular row for Shelley, we see that Shelley's also not the second person in line. So let's add that this way. So Shelley, who's the pigtails, is also not the second person in line. So we're going to put that X there. Mr. Bingley continues. Benny spilled his folder on the ground when he was running into the lunchroom. After that, he certainly wasn't first in line. So Benny spilled his folder. We know the folder is the person with the short curls, so that has to be Benny. So we're going to put an O there, and X's in the rest of that row, and X's in the rest of that column. And so Benny has the folder, so we're going to put an O there, and X in the rest of that column, and the rest of that row. And if we looked at the short curls, we could already see that it wasn't blue or green. So we're going to add that in this direction. So Benny won't have a blue or green backpack. And from here, we can see that Benny was not position 2, since that we already knew was Dave. So we're going to put that here. Benny is not position 2 in this direction. And after that, he certainly wasn't first in line, says Mr. Bingley. So Benny then can't be first. So we're also going to put an X there and an X there, since both of those are Benny, one for the row and one for the column of Benny. And then Mr. Bingley says, and Jamal was fourth in line. So that's something we know. So we're going to put an O there for Jamal in fourth. And we'll put X's in the rest of that row, and X's for the rest of that column. And because we know Jamal can't be short curls, long waves, or pigtails, and we know Jamal is fourth in line, then these three things can't be Jamal. So we'll put 3 X's for the fourth position.